In this we have the database table. So in the database table we need to update data. Okay, so this has to be done through screens. So we design screens, and in the screen when you enter data, this data has to go into database table in backend. Okay, so in the backend this data needs to be updated in the database tables. This is actually the concept that we want. We enter the data in the screen and save it. It goes in this database table and gets saved. So this is what we want to design now. So first let me pick one table into which we can update the data. So I'll go with the ZVAEMP10. Let me check this. So I have this data. So I'd like to update all these records, or let me do with a simple table. Otherwise I'll go with a very simple table now. So this is more simple actually. I just want it to be with data elements, with domains and data elements. In this we have now, let's say this one is the one which we have. Let me check if there is any foreign key relation here. There is already a foreign key relation for this. So if the foreign key relation is there, the dependency will come. Okay, I don't want that dependency, so I'll just remove this. Go for data element here. Yes. Okay, this is done. Activate. Okay, so this is the table into which we want to enter the data. Okay, it does not have any records as of now, but we would like to design screens, and then from the screen we would like to update the data in this particular table. There are 0 entries here. So let us create entries into this. So for this we need to create a module pool program, design the screens and update the data in the program. So this is what we have set. So we have ZVA underscore ZVA underscore MP2 module pool program to create. In this we have the module pool. Have local option. I'm clicking on local object. Now here we have to mention that in the tables. So whatever we have given that table name, we need to mention that in the tables. So it happens to be ZVA EMP20. So I need to give that in the tables, and then we'll go for data. IT underscore EMP, type standard table of ZVA underscore EMP20, WA underscore EMP, type ZVA underscore EMP20. This is what we have. So after that, we just need to activate this. Okay, we just need to activate this, and once we activate this, we need to make use of this work area actually. So we need to update the data through work area. Actually, in fact, like the scenario which we are doing right now, we don't need the internal table. We don't need the internal table. So we just uh, um, make use of work area. Okay, we'll just make use of work area in this. So let us do that. Let us come out of the program. If you don't come out of the program, when you double click on the modules, it does not get generated here in the mod in the SE38. So I'll go for SE51 now, /o SE51, and in this I'll go for the ZVA underscore MP2, and the screen number we always start with 100. It is up to you which one you want to start, but in the projects it's a general practice. If nobody is telling what is the screen number, by default we'll take it as 100, next screen 200, next screen 300, like that. Okay, create. So we'll screen, and then we'll go for flow logic. In the flow logic, we'll uncomment this modules, and then we'll go for the layout.
Sir, can you show something other than like text we can add, like this radio button? How to use this?
Yeah, let me do the scenarios. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. So here we just need to click on this. Okay, the dictionary program fields. Okay, so what we are going to do is we are going to update the data in the screen and save it, and that gets saved in the backend. Okay, so for that, let me give this text here. This is employee data, text 1, employee data, save. And now here we have to select the text for all, but first let me keep the fields here. The fields are, if you click on this dictionary fields and get from program, here we need to select the fields of the work area, because we want to update the data in the work area. So we just want to keep those things here, and we'll go for text here. Text 2, this is employee number. Text 3, text 3, employee name. Text 4, department. Text 5, city. Then we have PB1. PB1 I'll give it a save. PB1 I'll write it as save. So the main thing that we need to do is, if you click on save, this data that we are entering here needs to be saved in the backend in the database table. Okay, and then we'll go for save, SAV. SAV. Save it. This FCT code is important, because we'll write SYUCOM value is equals to SAV, then you save. That is how you write the logic. So whatever you write here, the FCT code is important. We need to remember that, make a note of it. SAV is what I have written here. Now I'll select another one. we have refresh. This is PB2. Save, refresh, and say exit. Exit. Ext. Save. Activate. This is done. So when you just check the layout again, just want to confirm if everything is done according to what we thought of doing it. So I'll select the save. We have SAV here, REF and EXT. I'm just checking the FCT codes. Okay, I'm just checking if the FCT codes are all good. Going back to the flow logic. Now, if you see here, just because you have selected from there, we will get the field name as WA underscore EMP hyphen EMPNO. Now, what you can do is you can, instead of writing like this, you can just directly create an input field here, drag and drop the input field here, and give the exact name like WA underscore EMP hyphen EMPNO. But in this, what happens if you even have a slightest problem, then it will not work. It stops working. That's the reason we are not doing it like that. So we have PBO and PAI. Now we'll double click on PBO. Say yes. Main program. Save. Back. Yes. Now these are the two things that we have. Now these two things we are created here. And here what we need to do is, by default what has to come on the screen should be written in process before output. If you give some input, okay, then it needs to be written in the process after input. Okay, I'll explain this. So first, by default, what has to come on the screen is what we write in the PBO. Okay, just we execute it, and you should get something on the screen, right? That we'll write in the PBO. But if you are giving user input, if user is giving input, PAI, process of input, if user is giving input, then what needs to happen after that is what we'll write in the PAI, process after input. Okay, process after inputs. Okay, so this is what we'll write here. So process after input, we'll write the logic here. So in the process after input, we have case sy ucom end case. So it's a good practice to, whenever you open a case, you need to close that case. Okay, that's a good practice of a developer. It is not mandatory, but it is a good case, so you better make it as a habit. Now here, when sav, then into insert into that table name zva, no, zva underscore emp20 values w underscore emp, values w underscore emp. Now here, this is for the save. When ref, in capital letters, you should give it in the capital letters. So when ref clear w underscore emp, when ext leave program, when ext leave program. So sav ref ext. So these are things that we, okay, this cannot be executed. We need to create a transaction code. Let's create a transaction code. And the good practice is, again, to maintain messages. Like if it's successfully saved, then you can populate a message that this is successfully saved. And if it is already existing, you can say it is already existing. The record is already existing. Okay, that one also we can populate the messages. But let me first show you the output for the basic logic, and then we will add the messages as well. I'll go with SE93, and in SE93 I'm creating the ZVA underscore MP2 create MP2, and then I need to select it as first one only. We don't have to change anything. We don't have to change anything here. So the program name is ZVA MP2, and the screen number is screen number. We need to select the screen number from here, 100. Say OK, save here, and that's it. Back. Okay, so when I select this ZVA underscore MP2, now in this you can enter some records. 1,000. Employee name is Sham, department SAP, city is Hyderabad, and then click on save. Okay, so what happens is, like, we have to write a message saying that the moment it is saved, a pop-up should come saying that it is successfully saved. Okay, when you go for refresh, it just refreshes, no need of any message. And if it is not successfully saved, then also you should get message that it cannot be saved because already record exists, something like that. Okay, Gaudi, department Nabar, city is Pune, save. Okay, refresh. Now these values are being created here. So when we go for exit now, so once we exit, we need to go to S11 transaction, display, contents, execute, and you get these records here. Clear, you can maintain any number of records. And going forward, we need to we need to also display the data in the next screen. We can do a lot of things. We can do a lot of new features that we can maintain the messages. Let's first maintain the message, and also we can maintain the title bar. We can maintain the PF status, and we can PF status in the sense we can create our own menu bar. Okay, so these all things we can do. We can create. So PF status, we'll create it in the SE41, right? So that thing we can just go ahead and go for. We can select this as ZVA underscore menu 1 M1. So you can then double click on this. Say yes. This is menu bar. You can create your own menu bar for this. I'll go for Vikram here. Select this, and this is something like you can go for something. I'll go for MOVE, or set display DISP, display data. So for display data, we can write a logic here in the menu. Okay, we can create a logic here for display data. I'll just show you that. DISP is the code. So what we can do is we can write here in the, when DISP select star from that ZVA underscore EMP20. Okay, select star from into table IT underscore IT underscore EMP, IT underscore EMP. That's it. So we just need to go for this one, and once we get this data into the internal table, we can go for the loop statement. Loop at IT underscore EMP into W underscore EMP, and then we have end loop. That's it. So here we can show the write statement. Write W underscore EMP hyphen EMP NO W underscore EMP hyphen EMP NA W underscore EMP hyphen something like this. Okay. So when you go for display, you can write this. Uh, Activate it. Edit. Display. This is one way. Save. Activate. Okay. So what we can do is we can go to the transaction code again. Here I can go for Vikram display data. It actually displays the data in the work area, so it displays the data, but what we can do is we can call this into a table and control break table, and then we can display that in the next screen. Okay, call screen something, and then we can go ahead with that. Okay, for that we need to use a table control to get the entire table output in the screen. We have to use a table control, and we'll use the table control in the next project. Okay, so this part we'll do it in the next project. But what we can do is we can simply use like this. Call screen, call transaction, call transaction, z emp zva underscore e10 zva e10. So we need to create a transaction code called zva e10. Okay, this is the transaction code that we need to create, and this transaction code can be created in SC93, of course. And now what I'll do is I'll write a program in which I'll write this logic. Okay, this is one way of doing it. I'll show you another way of doing it as well. So I'll go for mp2a. Mp2a means this is a program for mp2a, mp2 program, executable program, and then we'll select this local object. I'll write this logic here, the internal table and work area declaration, and select star. So I'll go for select statement and this all. This is an executable program, so we'll just select that. Okay, just we'll uncomment these things. Now say save, syntax check, activate, say OK, and this works fine. So it directly gives you the number of output records, does not give any selection screen or something like that. What I'll do is I will create a transaction code for this. I'll create it as mp2a, create mp2a. So it's the first one only. Say OK, go for mp2a, save, local object. Now this is what we have. This is ZBA mp2a. When you select this, directly you get the output. So what I'll do is I'll just simply say call transaction, this one. So in the code that I'll write here, call transaction. So we'll write here call transaction, call transaction, this one. Okay, this transaction which you wrote. We need to keep this in the inverted quotes. Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. After telling the entire story, if you just say I'm not audible, then again I have to start from the beginning.
Sir, anything
Yes.
you are you doing any further steps, or can I ask something?
Yeah, yeah. Let me just show you the output for this, and then we can. So here
Uh,
now I'll type this zva underscore mp2, okay, and now you get this screen, and here you want to go for display data, so directly you can get this, okay. But if you have a selection screen and exactly, so it cannot go back, that we have to write a logic for that. So but here this is what we wanted to do. So zva underscore emp, so mp2, mp2. So here these values we have to give, and then we have to save. Refresh will clear the data, exit will completely come out of it, and then here in the menu painter we have done this. You can also create your own application toolbar and function keys. All these things we can do just like we have done it in the previous program. And we can also go for search help for all these values, and all these all things can be possible. So if you want to get this data in the table format, we have to use a table control, which we'll be using in the next project. Okay, this is the program. Where is program, main program? Yeah, this is it. This is the program.